Hi everyone, my name's Rochelle, and right now I just wanted to talk about mother wounds. Just a nice light topic. um, and look, I was talking to my sister-in-law yesterday, and I know her mother, and I know my mother, and I know how the circumstances of how it goes sometimes. And she's a mother, she's 48 or soon to be, and we were talking at one stage yesterday, and I was saying to her, look up mother wounds, and she's like, I know, she says, but I'm scared. She said, I'm scared that I'm doing this to my children now. And so I just want to say to that, because there's not a lot of wording. Sorry guys, I've just sort of gotten up, my hair's a bit, it was up yesterday and it's been raining and stuff, so it's just a bit in natural state. Though, yeah, so like what I said to her as well. I said, yeah, you're right. I said, I said, unfortunately, you're right. I said, it can happen. So, but what I said, the difference is awareness, accountability, responsibility for our own energy. And look, I don't even say that in a projecting way. Like, what I mean by that is just doing little things for yourself every day for self-care. And I know that might sound selfish, though it's so necessary, because then when we've got ourselves and our nervous system at a baseline that is not triggering, it's not trigger happy for different things, then we can ground ourselves and we can actually witness and hear ourselves and see ourselves in a moment, and how we might go to control the situation. It's just 222. How we might go to control the situation, or get cranky about something, or go in for the defense about something to protect our energy, protect our image even, protect ourselves in a moment. And look, whilst that is still valid to do those things, sometimes that is the key thing right there, because narcissists are very sort of image driven. So, and that's sort of why sometimes as well, guys, I really do just jump in here without my hair or makeup done, because I just want to be real and raw, and authentic in this. Like, it's a heavy hitting topic. I don't think I need to have my hair and makeup done to talk about this, to make it more palatable, because it is what it is. And so just being aware of our moods even. And it's just 333. And I've just got a beautiful girlfriend that's just been on a retreat. So I just was saying how amazing. So she's just sending back kisses. And that too, like retreats right there, like retreats, taking yourself away from the situation and just being with yourself and your emotions without having to worry about everybody else's emotions and day and doings in the house. Like, just literally take yourself out of the environment, even if it's for 3 days, even if it's for 2 days, even if it's for a day. Just start there, half a day. Just start with that and start to peel back the layers and sort of, go on that little bit more of a self-discovery journey. And again, just honesty, but with compassion and forgiveness of the self and others. Because when we can witness what we've done and doing, it's just 444. When we can witness our mistakes and our wrongdoings, then even with the best of intentions, then we can extend that compassion and grace, maybe grace to ourselves, but we can extend that compassion to our parents and things like that. And whether that relationship will be quite right again, we can still forgive from afar. Forgiveness is our own for ourselves. It's not saying to the other person, it's okay. It's actually forgiveness and awareness of witnessing it for what it is and saying, yeah, I understand. I understand how that could come about. And how we understand is from healing and understanding our own personal story and knowing that even when we've hurt one of our loved ones, we didn't mean it. We didn't mean it. We were in survival mode. We were in protection mode. We were in defensive modes and mechanisms. So we don't, understanding that about ourselves, again, it's not saying that what anybody else has done is okay, though it just gives room for exactly that, just to sort of go, I can see how this has come about. And it's patterns. It really is. Pretty much every child, teenager swears blind, black and blue or whatever that means, but swears that we won't do to our kids, pardon me, we won't do to our kids what was done onto us. And then you hear yourself in a moment, you feel yourself in a moment react, and jump on that, whatever, whoever. And sometimes, yeah, and this is what it's about. And I didn't know this really either, guys, because I was single, I didn't have children, and I understood moods and things like that, but I didn't know sometimes what it was like in a household with younger children, how you can be sometimes. And ladies, especially if you have a daughter, because it is a societal wound, it's a feminine wound of oppression and suppression and depression even, and resentment sometimes, and I remember even saying to my own mum, you're envious, you're and yeah, I remember her saying something to me one day, oh, I knew you thought I was jealous of you. She says, you're not all that. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I wasn't actually talking about my looks. I said I was talking about my light. And so even that, her projecting, seemingly thinking that it was this way when it had nothing to do with that, but look, I think we can all do that at certain points in time. And again, and the best way I have found to appease that feeling and inside, I was just going to say suppress, but it's not suppress, it's release. And the best way I can find that I have found to have that feeling sort of not come up, because it doesn't need to, is by being my authentic self, being on my healing journey, self-care, self-love, and still not sacrificing our own lives, our own soul's journey on behalf of others, because love is love and love is beautiful, but it's still not enough. We've still got to do our stuff and our things while we come to the earth. And look, sometimes it is being the best mother you can be, and being the best mother and raising beautiful children and beautiful souls. Though again, how do you be that beautiful mother? You be that beautiful mother by being your beautiful self and doing beautiful things for yourself and not sacrificing. Sometimes taking one for the team, absolutely, that is love, but there's a difference between sort of consideration and compromise. So considering another before you do something and things like that is way different than compromise and putting your whole self aside on behalf of others, because that really is a recipe for things to bubble up inside our souls and inside ourselves, and rightfully so, especially if you have had trauma, potentially, narcissistic upbringing, and these kind of things. When does your time come? When is your time to self-nurture, self-heal, and self-soothe, and, self-regulate? When is your time? If your time, you grew up too fast because you had unwanted, unrequested responsibilities projected onto you from a young age, or unwanted and projected emotions onto you from a young age, then when is your time to just be and just self-soothe and heal? And obviously sometimes we get into these relationships and then the first person we give ourselves to is our partner. So then we are being sort of taken care of, hopefully, in that dynamics. But then as soon as children come along, and we do sacrifice ourselves for our partners. It was just double one. We do sacrifice ourselves for our partners. And then when a child comes along, then we 100% nearly sacrifice ourselves for children and then a partner. And it's famous that women put ourselves on the back burner, so to speak, and just do on behalf of everybody else. And look, whilst it is doable, it's not sustainable, and we can't run on, the fumes of love for too long, because otherwise there will be repercussions. And ironically speaking, it's our loved ones that suffer. So by doing and loving onto yourself and making room for your healing journey, and making room to even understand different things that are coming up for you, and honoring those feelings and emotions and wounds inside ourselves, that we can even be that person for our loved ones. Because until then, we are in heightened states of survival mode. And we're running on adrenaline, we're running on fear, and again, nobody benefits, nobody wins, and we just redo the cycle. Sorry, I was awake late last night. I'm just looking at my eyes right now. So anyways, here I am, and just sharing these words of wisdom that need to be shared, because and like what I even got from my sister-in-law yesterday was, I don't want to look at it because I feel so guilty that I'm doing this. I'm so scared that I'm doing this to my kids. I just can't, I just can't look at it. That's what I got. So she deals with these things, and, but it's that constant balancing act then. Try not to drink on that day. Try and keep those things at a minimum. Try and, get out of bed at a time and things like that. When we don't honor ourselves and these feelings and emotions, and again, our inner child, these child wounds that are inside our shadow selves, then our nervous system and our baseline isn't secure enough, and the foundation isn't secure enough to hold space. And to what she was saying too yesterday, she said we're all good. She said we're all good. She said we're all good. She said, but inside I'm not good. And I was wondering, and this is why I wanted to do a video on this too, because I was wondering how many ladies are operating from this space. How many women are just getting through the day? There's no time. I even know at the moment of even carving out time to work on myself, work on my business, harmonize some things in my life and heal, that how much time still just goes. Before you know it, it's 3:30. Other people are coming home. Other people are entering the house again. And then it's dinner time again. And before you know it, and then it's 9:30, quarter to 10, 10:30 at night, or later. And by that stage, you just want to zone out. Like you're not really, yeah, you're not really at a space to compute that sort of level of energy and emotion and draw up those big things. Look, I mean, I would still say whatever time of the day that you can fit that in and fit yourself in, it still does count to a degree. Though honoring those things at the start of the day, like, and just carving out, even if it's just an hour, even if it's half an hour, to just watch a video or even listen to it whilst you drive. Though I would say, especially in the early stages, don't, pardon me, don't do that. Yeah, if you've got somewhere to go that's semi-important and things like that, then yeah, triggering yourself and bringing up these raw emotions and things like that before you're about to enter into a room or a place, then it's probably not the best idea. But just, you will know your schedule the best to say when is a time. And again, look, sorry, sometimes there is no perfect time to do those things, to carve out that time. So sometimes it's just making yourself a beautiful cup of tea or a cup of coffee. I still do say as well to do some of this work sometimes whilst you haven't had coffee, because coffee, as we know, can fire off the adrenal glands, can fire off cortisol, the amygdala in the brain, the fight or flight response and things like that. So sometimes coffee I do sit aside, like even today I haven't had a coffee yet. I've got my green tea, and this is sort of what I sit with in my mornings while I do my stretches. Even here right now on my telly is Qigong. So it's spelled Qigong. And Qigong is just a beautiful ancient movement style. It's more than just movement though. It's Chinese, and it's sort of, put it this way, Tai Chi is a leg of Qigong. So it's just a beautiful way. And what I even love about it, like my yoga mat is sitting here. What I love about it is I don't even have to get out my yoga mat and make sure the floor is clean and I have got a space. Like, our floor is generally clean, but you know what I mean. Anyone that's going to roll down a yoga mat cares where they plonk it. So, and I know sometimes then I might get the broom or I might get the vacuum and things like that. And then you snowball into other things. You think, well, I'll just do this area. And then you think, oh, well, I've got it in my hand. I may as well just do the downstairs. And then I may as well just get the dustpan and broom and pick it up, And then sometimes, I may as well just do the laundry while I've got it in my hand. And, and then before you know it, the morning's gone, and then you don't feel like you've got that abundance of time to just sit with yourself. And I think that's another one as well. Like, if you've got anxiety, even ADHD, or like trauma on this note, and what is called CPTSD, so look that up. And that is basically growing up in a house with inconsistent or unstable foundations and emotions, really. So it's not even to say you grew up in a house of full neglect of and this is what stumps a lot of people too, that they may have had family holidays, they may have had their lunches packed every day, they may have had dinner on the table every night, clean shoes, clean sheets. And so on the surface, our parents did try. They did try with whatever tools and things like that they had available to them. Look, anything that was done onto us from our parents was not their fault. And I want to say that too. Like, okay, yes, everyone has to take accountability for their actions, though it wasn't their fault. It's a societal wound. And these things come up from generation to generation, that these things get passed down in the name of patterns. And So again, they only had whatever they had available to us. And like what we're realizing more and more now is the school systems, like they didn't have our best interest at heart either, nor do our doctors, nor does our government. But anyways, that's a whole other video. So we really do need to take personal responsibility, ownership, but again, with compassion, that what we have been exposed to and what we sort of see as trauma and shadows and things like that, and our wounded inner child were, like it was, obviously we didn't ask for it, but neither did they. And so this is how it goes. When we can look at that, and even, again, it's not pointing down the line to, well, was it my grandparents' fault? Are my grandparents bad people? Are my grandparents evil? And it's like, no one. I don't believe many people are evil at their core, but we have a lot of wounded souls running around, not taking accountability, not being aware, not taking personal responsibility for their energy. And they're just basically wearing their wounds like a badge of honor. And like feeling entitled to be and project and things like that in any way possible because we've got a story or we've got wounds and things like that. And it's like, as much as it's compassion to everybody's individual story and wounds and things like that and pain, but we all have a story. So it doesn't give anybody a right to run around just throwing ourselves around and being however we want to be to people, and especially to our loved ones. So this is where it comes back to numero uno, and bringing it back to ourselves. We can we literally help our family lineage, our generational sort of trauma and patterns heal by our own personal healing journey. It's just 2222. And not only that, we help heal the world, because not only do we help heal individuals inside our house by being able to hold ourselves steady, we also, and by leading by example, we also help heal the world through all of our interactions throughout our day. So the people at the bank, the people in the supermarket or on the roads and things like that, walking past somebody on the street, do we just smile at them or do we just look at them and look away? Do we compliment them? Do we sort of say that, your hair looks beautiful, or I love that color, what a beautiful dress. We don't need to do that every day at every person. And we don't need to do that stuff as well inauthentically, because they feel it and we feel it. Like, you don't feel that genuineness if it's not coming from that genuine space. So if you are going to compliment somebody and things like that, don't do it for the byproduct of the outcome. You do it for the genuine reason that you want to sort of lift somebody else in a moment. And again, we don't know what those people are going through. So spreading kindness helps heal the world. And again, like when our nervous system is sound, and we're operating from that regulated baseline, then you're good. You don't have to personalize somebody else's shit, what somebody else is going through, and even projecting in that day. And whether it be a parent or a perfect stranger, then when those things get projected our way, you can sort of go, okay, good on you, or step back, or to just know this isn't about me. But if you are depleted, if you're running on empty, if you're zapped in any way, shape or form, running aka from survival mode, then it's really easy to go operate from survival mode and to get on the defense and to go into protection modes, because we're protecting ourselves right there and then. So this is how we break the cycle. And so and self-care self-love, fill up your tank, top up your, top up your tank, fill up your cup. And that is how we help harmonize our households. It's not by running around pleasing everybody else in the household and overgiving and being overstimulated and overtired and things like that. That creates the opposite. That stays in cycles, that stays in the pattern, because it's exactly what our parents were doing. And I just wanted to mention one more thing before I go, to say our parents didn't have the luxury of the internet. They didn't have people sharing these stories. They didn't have the communities and things like that and the knowledge and information that we have available at our fingertips. So we got to give a little bit of grace to that as well, that they were literally running from autopilot, raw emotions, black and white views and perspectives, and society, like expectations from other people, external sources. And now we're realizing more and more that is an illusion. What matters most is what is going on in our internal world, and then everything else shifts, literally shifts. We shift our external world, we shift our external world by shifting our internal world, because then that shifts our perspective and our view and our perception in pretty much every scenario, even of people, even of individuals. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to start to sort of put these things here, because there isn't a lot of information of how if we've been brought up by narcissistic parents, how we can break this cycle. And even just to be so scared, and I can relate to the feeling too. And my partner says to me, I think one of your greatest fears is not to end up like your mother. And I'm like, yeah, it actually is. Like, though, again, being so worried and so in such a heightened fear state still doesn't change it. So we've got to go deeper, and we've got to honor these feelings, these emotions ourselves, to make that difference, to make that change. And so compassion for your story, and happy healing, and have a beautiful week. What to be shared.